Yeah, but who wants to hear that horse shit again?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today I will be making. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Today I will be making a presentation to you about the wonders of modern architecture, how it is far and vastly superior to what the antiquated peoples of the yesteryear could do, say in 1700 or 1800. They had limited techniques like the way the Amish built barns in the movie Witness, and I'm going to use this presentation to demonstrate that to you now. Thank you. Unfortunately, I must start off the presentation showing you an embarrassing work of yesteryear. This is the Philadelphia City Hall building on Market Street in Philadelphia, built in what they call the Gilded Age. In my opinion, an age that should be forgotten, an embarrassment of architecture. In some places, the walls are 20 feet thick. It's millions of pounds of granite and stone and marble. But the poor bastards, all they had to work with was horses. The portable diesel engines were not widely available when this was built, no electricity, and this is all they could do. And quite frankly, it shows. It's an embarrassment. Now, this is a fine example of modern architecture and what modern engineering can accomplish. This is the Kraft Foods factory in Trevose, Pennsylvania, where I worked for 15 years. I was the one that actually stuffed the Oreo cookies into the wrapper by hand. That building made me proud. Just looking at it today gets a tear to my eye how beautiful its construction is. To be fair, I need to show you the old world shit. This is something that was slapped together probably in a few weeks, and it shows. This is the beautiful Nabisco factory. I wanted to work there. I asked my boss for a transfer 10 times. He wouldn't transfer me over. I love this building. It would have brought a tear to my eye to work in something so special, so beautiful. Look at the lines. Look at the beautiful architecture that modern man can do. Again, I have to show you works of 1870, the Gilded Age. It's again another embarrassment. Let's move on as quickly as possible. This is what modern technology and modern engineering techniques can come up with. It's called half a house. You park on the right, you live on the left. Genius. Genius and brilliance is in the modern age. These are interiors from what the old world could do, an embarrassment. Something probably was slapped together overnight, and it shows. This is what modern interiors are all about. You can see the improvements, what mankind was able to do in roughly 100 years. You can just see the warmth, the beautiful lines. I could just picture watching my forehead VCR in that room, couldn't you? Here, another shining example of modern architecture and what was able to be done in the 70s. I don't know about you, but the building screams impressive to me. Now, when thousands of people need to live together in a small space, this is what modern techniques can do for people, a beautiful sight to behold from the air. This is another bullshit work from the Gilded Age, something that probably any Boy Scout troop could do with just a little bit of training slapped together, and it shows. These are interiors from old world nonsense buildings, an embarrassment, something that looks rushed and slapped together. This again is an interior of a modern building, and it just brings a sense of warmth and home and family. And I must show you again an old world piece of shit in order to compare that to a beautiful modern building. This is actually my grandmother's house just outside of North Philadelphia. It's a beautiful piece of architecture, but the garage door don't work. I'm going to fix that this weekend. Again, what era is this from? It obviously ain't modern. It's an embarrassment, and it's something that they should have been ashamed about. Hey guys, it's Matt again. It is amazing how all of these buildings around the world were built supposedly before electricity and before the diesel engine, or at least a portable diesel engine. Incredible, intricate details. I mostly agree, and I'm fascinated by the work of John Levi and YouTube channels like When the Buildings Cried. Most of these buildings could not be built today. Forget the technology, the skill level, the manual skill level doesn't even exist. And it is almost as big of a mystery as how the pyramids were built. And the best way to show people that is to compare it to the crap of today. So let's do that using this article. A Hong Kong architecture firm shows how it's done after 150 years in business. Some of the city's prominent landmarks, Jardine House, Exchange Square, Pedlar Building, have been designed by P&T Group, one of the world's oldest architecture and engineering firms. Okay, well, they should be putting out buildings as beautiful as that Biltmore in South Carolina, right? Let's see what they got. What? That's the shining star? That boxed piece of shit? P&T Group? Well, what about if they could do that shit in the old days? Well, why can't we do that now? I've been surprised at the sheer breadth and diversity of their work. Chris Webster, Dean of Hong Kong University's Faculty of Architecture. You some kind of retard? Chris? Go look at what they did in the old days, the Gilded Age. One of PT Group's most famous buildings, Jardine House, was not universally loved when completed in 1972. You think? Why would that boxed piece of shit be universally loved? Am I missing something? This isn't the Jardine House. This is a more modern piece of shit that P&T Group slapped together. That guy coming in was talking about the Gilded Age being an embarrassment. P&T Group, you're an embarrassment. Jardine House, look at this piece of shit. And this was one of the most prominent buildings and respected buildings in Hong Kong. Looks like a prefab erector set a retarded Boy Scout troop could put together and erect. No pun intended. Look at that phallus. This is an embarrassment. And has it changed much? Now, this is Hong Kong in the 70s and 60s, and it hasn't changed much to today. It's square prefab crap for the most part. P&T Group, known as Palmer and Turner until 1982, was founded by 24-year-old William Salway a year after a fire in 1867 had destroyed much of the centrals at Central Hong Kong's early buildings. Oh, a fire destroyed the early buildings. Anybody surprised? Me neither. Let's see what else they did. Oh, they built this one in Beijing. It brings a tear to my eye. Get chills looking at something that beautiful. Oh my goodness. Chan and Riva are excited by modular integrated construction, which involves prefabricated pieces of shit residences being assembled at a building site. Oh, they're excited by prefab piece of shit that you slap together with glue? That's wonderful how things get worse as we move through time. There's something to that metaphysically, guys. And look how they shared their design ideas. What's this? Concrete blocks, cinder blocks stacked up and a doorway inserted? Oh, that's genius. P&T Group. It's our goal to keep moving, not just stick to 150 years of history. Keep moving? Go backwards in time, you assholes. Get your design ideas from what was done in the 1700s and the 1800s. But that wouldn't help you because you couldn't even reverse engineer it. With $1 billion budget, you couldn't construct what was made back in the Gilded Age and before electricity, before the diesel engine, before cranes. For the people screaming at this video, yes, I'll address it. I'm well aware that there are theories in many of these big channels that all these buildings were here and a new group of people, some new civilization that brought in the orphans and the wagon trains, just inherited it, took it over. I'm well aware of all those theories. Who you talking to here? This ain't my first rodeo around the truth community here, you crazies. I've been here a while. But I'm not ready to jump on board with that. They have too many problems with it. You know, I always fall back to this place isn't very real. Matrix of some kind can kind of do what it wants, can show both sides to two different groups at the same time. Things aren't, stone really isn't heavy. It just appears to be heavy. I'm more in that camp. It just doesn't quite sit right with me. Okay, if you're going to make those, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I'm not ready to jump on board like that. Just when somebody says we live in a crater on the moon, I'm not ready to jump on board with that. I'll watch it. I'll find it fascinating, but I'm not ready to jump on board. I'm not ready to jump on board that all these buildings existed and they were just inherited. There's a lot of problems with that, right? Now, the world is so insane, so matrix, so crazy, that's possible too. I'm not saying it's wrong. Just saying, well, I don't know if there's anything normal left in the world or any sort of things we can still bank on, which we can't even bank on the laws of physics anymore. Even they're breaking down. All of reality's breaking down. But Okay, this Philadelphia City Hall supposedly existed in Philadelphia. That means, every story about anything that happened in the Philadelphia area, William Penn, all fairy tales. This building was there, had been there for thousands of years. Yet there's just the men in black and the Adjustment Bureau was able to go around the tri-state area of New Jersey, Philadelphia, New York, Delaware. They were able to gather up every bit of evidence that ever existed, that how that building, like the Philadelphia City Hall, had been here for thousands of years. Just gathered up every bit of evidence. They found every note anybody ever shoved in a couch. They found everybody's diary entry. William Penn was here, I believe, in the late 1600s or very early 1700s. I think it was late 1600s. Nobody kept a diary. Said, we came through the woods and there was this giant 4 million-ton building that will eventually, between you and me, become the Philadelphia City Hall building, and nobody put it in a diary. Nobody wrote a note about it, a note like my family tree book is passed through the ages, nothing like that. Just the Adjustment Bureau. They were able to just find every bit of evidence anywhere in North America that all of these buildings had existed, and it was all completely covered up. Well, I'm not going to say, I'm just not ready to jump on board. I'm not going to say that's crazy, because if that happened, it wouldn't be the first reality breakdown we've observed now, would it? So, something to think about. Melvin Gates back. This guy, Matt, he invaded my video one more time. I'm going to kick his ass. Stay out of my video. This guy, Matt, this asshole. North Korea, they've got their dear leader. Why should they have their dear leader? We finally have our dear leader. This is the exalted one, President Trump and his husband, standing in front of the Taj Mahal. Of course, what a coincidence. The Taj Mahal has a reflecting pool, just like the reflecting pool between the Capitol building in the United States and the giant penis on the other side, or the phallus of Osiris. But I ain't no conspiracy theory like this guy, Matt, that invades my video. I'm just here to present facts and a comparison between old world architecture shit and the new stuff. And we could do this again all the way back through 1600. I don't want to just give examples from the shit Gilded Age or whatever, 1700. I need to show you that this shit continued all the way back. This piece of shit was supposedly constructed in 1600 and something. I'm sure Trump didn't want to go out there and see this piece of shit. He was just trying to be nice to an Indian premier, prime minister, president, whatever the F they got in that godforsaken country. He's just trying to be nice because that's all they got. This piece of shit hobo shack is all they got out there south of Delhi. So the exalted one here and his husband decided to go out and pose for a few pictures, which was awfully nice of President Trump. But nevertheless, so if you go to a Wikipedia page on this piece of shit built in 16 something, they said it took 25,000 artisans or artisans or whatever the F that word is, 25,000 poor bastards they had to bring in to the vicinity here to build this thing. And, people find that impressive, but I think it's just the opposite. First of all, you can't coordinate 25,000 of these bastards in an area in a time period that had no electricity, no bullhorns. How's the foreman supposed to talk to everybody, keep everybody on track? They didn't have no Nextel wireless. How they keep 25,000 people on point? And it shows the sloppy nature of not being able to coordinate 25,000 these poor bastards they had to bring in. 25,000, they would have done better just bringing in 25. You can control that situation, 25,000. No wonder the symmetry's off. That freaking dome is lopsided like a piece of chocolate sitting out in the sun for 4 hours. I mean, what's the foreman supposed to do? He don't know what the left hand's doing. There's 25,000 left hands. How'd they even get 25,000 artisans or artisans or whatever the F that word is? How'd they even get them in here? They send Pony Express all over the country, post billboards up with thumbtacks at every bar, every telephone pole. They didn't even have no telephone poles back in 1600. How do you even spread the word you need 25,000 artisans to come in? Maybe you round up every whore in the country and you fence this area off and you let the whole country know that every whore is here. You make it like the Nebraska State Fair. I guess they will come down. If you build it, he will come. If you build it, they will come. 25,000 artisans. If you bring every whore in Delhi down, he will come. Literally.